Hey guys, welcome to my planty home. Thank you for stopping by my channel today. Today is going to be just a plethora of plant care things. I kind of don't even know what I'm going to get up to, but trust me, there's plenty of fun little tinkery plant things to get done around here, and I'm super excited, especially because Ryan took the boys, so it's just you, me, Bismarck, and a bunch of plant chores. There's no wild children bouncing off the walls in the background, which is always really nice and relaxing for me. I don't know how you guys feel about it. First, oh, that was heavy. Let's see. First up, the Syngonium albo, which needs cleaned up. So many dried up leaves on this. I'm not gonna do it today because I don't have a planter big enough, but I do wanna get this repotted soon. I have it in this basalt super porous planter, which just is not a good match for a Syngonium. It dries out way too quickly, but it is going to be very satisfying to get all of these dead leaves removed. One of my favorite plant chores of all is removing dead leaves, especially when it's really bad like this. Not that I love leaves to be drying up this much, but I do kind of enjoy the process. It's just so satisfying. So I do often wait for my plants to get really, really bad and dried up like this so that it is like more work at one time, instead of just removing a couple of dead leaves here and there more frequently. It's just fun. Done. Wasn't even bad. Okay, it was pretty bad. Much better. Wow, this puts me in the fall spirit, you know what I mean? A while ago, my mother-in-law got me this set of hanging planters. I've been using them to sit on in my grow tent because if you've been around, you know my husband hates drilling holes in the ceiling, so there isn't really a good spot for me to hang these. So instead, since they don't have a drainage hole, I'm gonna use the smaller one as a saucer for this so that I can hopefully keep a bit of a reservoir of water in here to help keep this from drying out as badly as it did. Right? Good idea, right? See, like that. Back to its spot it goes. And while we're at it, there's this larger one that I'm going to use as a saucer on my Cebu blue pothos, which just lives across the room there. And it's right now just sitting on a plastic plate because I didn't have any big enough saucers for the planter it sits in. So I think this is gonna work. I think it'll be big enough. Ignore my laundry. It's hard to ignore, I guess. It's a big pile. But when the boys aren't here, I'm not wasting my time folding laundry. Yes, perfect. That is so much better than this ugly, dirty plate. This is what it was on before. Not a lot of water catching capabilities. See? A lot more water storing ability. So now I'll be able to water this a lot more deeply. In fact, I think I'm gonna water it right now. And now to water this Syngonium albo. It looks so messy. That's kind of the problem with Syngonium. Once you move them, they just become very tangled and messy looking. It takes them growing back in a little bit before they look good again. Example, the Syngonium white butterfly up here, all the leaves have grown in more, what's the word I'm looking for? Uniform. They're growing facing kind of the same direction. It just looks really full and lush because I haven't moved this plant since I repotted it. If I were to move that plant, it would look disheveled and messy, just like this one. I try to avoid moving them at all costs, although today I don't know why. I should have just cleaned it up down here because now maybe it'll motivate me to take some cuttings. Should we take some cuttings? Yeah, let's take some Syngonium cuttings. I guess my game plan, I'm just gonna cut each of the vines, especially the ones that are down on the floor. I guess even if it didn't look messy, I feel like this is a good idea because these were kind of crawling all along the floor. Like, don't get me wrong, this whole area, I should have shown you before, but this whole area was kind of full of the Syngonium vines and it looked cool, but it definitely was getting in the way. So I feel this is a good decision. And I am back on my propagation game. My shop is open again. I really don't mention it on my channel too much. I just feel weird. I don't want people to go buy plants from my shop just because they're from my shop. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's something I'm getting back into consistently. These are all of the vines. Now it can hopefully grow in a little more uniformly. I mean, it's still messy, don't get me wrong, but at least it's not like tangled up all over the floor, right? I am going to cut these vines up by individual node. Well, for the most part, some of them I'm not. Like this one doesn't have a leaf, so it's 2 nodes. I'll be putting them in this vase thing I thrifted a while ago. I actually think I'm gonna like this little setup. I think it's so cute for propagations like this. So this is a Syngonium albo, but it's reverted. So a lot of the leaves, I mean, there's one vine that's actually pretty well variegated, but all these other ones I took cuttings from are very, very reverted, unfortunately. That's just something that happens with Syngonium albo pretty easily. I'm okay with it. Even the plain reverted green leaves are super, super pretty. I just love how billowy Syngonium look as they mature. Maybe I am going to put all the variegated ones together though, now that I'm thinking about it. Now to fill it up with water. Okay. I'm just gonna put it on the bathtub here. It's a little ski-wampus looking, but yeah, like we talked about before, once it grows in a little bit and the leaves start to turn toward the light, then it's going to look really good here, I think. I decided with the variegated stems, like this one, see how it has like the stripes in it? Yeah, these ones are way more variegated than those other ones I just stuck in the water. So I'm gonna put these ones into the soil on the bare parts of the plant to hopefully fill it in a little bit more. Hopefully. I will need to keep this much better watered if I have any hope, if I'm gonna have any hopes of these rooting and growing. So definitely gonna have to stay better on top of this one, but I do think having that deeper saucer is really going to help here. That is like the best plant care hack, the #1 plant care hack, to use a very deep saucer to help keep things lower maintenance and like not have to water as often. It's kind of hard to get this one in there. Hopefully that will grow in a lot more full. Here I have these Monstera Siltepecana that I've had rooting in water for like, I want to say a week. They are water rooted. I think it's time to get them moved over to some moss cups so I can get them ready to list on the shop. They do need to root quite a bit more before I'm comfortable listing to ship them, but making good progress. So I just want to get them moved over And yeah, I also have some Syngonium cuttings here, which are starting to root. That one white root that root right here is really awesome, but they're not all that rooted. That is my sign that it's time. Plug in my, what's this called? Soldering iron. What I like to pop my cuttings up into are little 3-ounce or 5-ounce cups. These ones are 3-ounce because the plants are really small. I use the 5-ounce ones for pretty well-rooted plants. I'm gonna burn holes in the bottom of them for drainage using a soldering iron. So I'm just gonna set it here and let it warm up and put the cups out in stacks of like 3 or 4-ish. Got all my little cups, and I'm just gonna take the soldering iron and poke holes into the bottom. Oh, it's not heated up enough yet. Maybe I'll have a snack while I wait. Okay, letting it cool off out there. All right, all the cups have 2 holes burned into them. Now I'm gonna pull them apart. Sometimes they melt together and it's hard to get them apart, so I just try to pull them apart like right away. I normally don't burn the holes inside my house, but every single window in my house is open today because it is a cool day. It's been super rainy all day. It did just get very bright out like 5 seconds ago. But yeah, it's been a really cool day outside, a little breezy. So we've had the windows open. All of the plastic burning fumes can go out. I don't like to eat when I'm doing plant stuff, so gotta get my snack in first. Okay, here I've got sphagnum moss. This is mostly sphagnum moss petals. Long story, I don't usually buy sphagnum petals. It was a mishap with a company. This tray here has water in it, and my spray bottle also has water in it. So what I'm gonna do, fill it up with some of the dried sphagnum moss, and then I'm going to take 2 Siltepecana cuttings, and yeah, look at these roots. They look really good, and I love to see that the growth points are activating. That's super nice. Okay, I'm gonna put my cuttings into the moss. And then I'm gonna spray them just enough that the plants hold into place and water starts to trickle out the bottom. Just spraying it enough so that water will trickle out the bottom will like help allow the sphagnum moss to soak up some of the water down in the tray. That's the full process. So I will do it again, fill it up with moss. Stick a couple of cuttings into the moss and spray it. It is a little bit of a tedious process, but this kind of propagation is so rewarding in a lot of ways. I don't know, I kind of like little tedious plant things like this where I can just sit down and kind of mindlessly do something, but it's also really fun to, I don't know that in a couple of months, these are gonna be nice looking plants that I can make a little bit of extra money on. Right now, I am trying to make a little bit of extra money because I wanna buy carbon plate shoes for my next half marathon race. Yeah, so that's what these plants are going to be funding. They're just so expensive. Okay, cup, moss, 2 little cuttings. Do it in the water and give it a little spray. Good root. This one barely has activation there, but hey, as long as it has a little something, I'm content with that. The door slamming from the wind gave me a heart attack. Oh. Oh, dang it. Since the moss is dry, if I kind of hold the plants in place how I want them to sit, as the water drains down, it will help settle the moss around the plant the way I want them to, so that they sit a little bit better. "20 minutes later, and I have all the Monster Siltepecana cuttings potted. 10 exactly. When I take cuttings like this, I always expect there to be more. I definitely thought I'd have closer to like 30 plants, but I don't know. Now onto the Cebu. Same process, only difference is I'm gonna put 3 leaves in each cup. All of the cuttings with no sign of root growth yet will go back into the propagation vessel. I ended up with 10 Cebu Blue Pothos also, so 20 plants total propagated today. I am gonna let these sit here and absorb some of this water. I'll also be bottom. You know what, let's just do it right now. While we're here, and since I have this full tray, I genuinely thought this tray was gonna be full of props, but I only filled up like a third of it. I'm gonna bottom water my aloe plant. Ta-da! Another thing that has to be done is my Adenia glauca here. Ugh. This morning I noticed it was like tipped over like this. I don't know how or why, because it's been in this pot for a solid year now. For whatever reason, it just keeps tipping over. So I'm gonna go ahead and repot it, but I'm just gonna repot it back into this planter, maybe a little bit deeper down. Oh no. I just accidentally broke the root, the main root. Dang it. That was so stupid of me. And just when the plant was starting to do well, ugh. And now I'm gonna fill in around. This is a really easy one. Gosh dang it, I can't believe I freaking broke that root. I'm so mad at myself. There we go. All fixed, hopefully. Isn't it cute? I freaking love this plant. Now back to my shelf it goes. Hopefully it does okay since I broke that root off. That's such a bummer. I love it. Oh my gosh. Okay. And I also want to get these all rubbed up. I think this is where I'm going to leave things for today. I'm gonna let this sit here and really soak up water until it's fully saturated. I do think it's a little bit hydrophobic, so I may need to leave it here like overnight. I'm also, really quickly, this is your reminder, if you have wooden utensils or cutting boards, to boil them in white vinegar and mineral oil them up. This is my second round of oil. I did it a little bit yesterday. Otherwise, they will dry up and crack. Hold excess bacteria that could really make you sick, you know? Gotta clean them every once in a while. Anyway, I actually really enjoy doing this because then they feel brand new afterward. Over 6 months ago, I got back in touch with my high school best friend. She wanted a plant. Actually, let me show you the plant. This Peperomia hoffmanii, which I don't know if you remember, I posted a short of taking the cuttings and propagating this bad boy. This was back in February, and it is now rooted. It's a very full plant. It has come a long, long way since I took the cuttings back in February, and I cannot believe it's been that long since we got together. We said we were gonna get together more consistently, and then it's just like, I like blinked and it's 6-7 months later. The plant, fortunately, is ready, and we're getting together tomorrow. We're gonna go see a movie. I am going to take this to her tomorrow, so that'll be fun. When you and I catch up again tomorrow, I will be headed to her house to drop that off, and we'll find a spot for it in her place. And then after that, we will get back to the plant care vlog and do a whole bunch of grow tent stuff. I really want to show you a lot of the awesome plants I have rooting down there right now. I have so many Monstera albo propagations on their way to ready to go. I think they should be ready in like 3 weeks from now. I love using the clear little cup systems so that I can see the root systems down there, and Monstera roots are like so chunky. They're so satisfying to be able to see growing through the moss in the little cups. So I'm going to show you all those tomorrow, and then I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I will see you tomorrow. I'm back. We're home. So I'm gonna go do some stuff down in the grow tent. I really want to show you those Monstera albo roots. I don't know what it is, but they're just extra satisfying this time in those little cups. They're like very thick, white, plump, healthy looking roots, and that's not always the case with Monstera albos. Try as I might to keep them happy, it just doesn't always happen. So yeah, it feels good that they're doing well and they're rooting so quickly. We saw, what's that one? What's that one with Blake Lively? It Ends With Us. I am personally not a Colleen Hoover fan, but I loved the movie. It's kind of a scary movie. It's very fast paced, which gave me a little bit of anxiety because a lot of the topics they talk about are a little bit dark. And as somebody that didn't read the book, I had no idea. Which is fine. It just felt a little bit traumatic. Did I mention this was my second time seeing it? I'm glad I went back and watched it a second time because I feel like it helped me like heal a little bit. Okay, down to the grow tent we go to put these out on the shelf. Yeah, so welcome to the tent. It is very cluttery in here, but honestly, I kind of like it this way because it makes me take care of my plant chores more. With as much as I wish I was able to keep all of the sphagnum moss and substrate and all of that cleaned up, it just hasn't happened. It's just really relaxing down here, and I'm not worried about the mess because I just pretend that I'm outside right now, and somehow that magically makes me feel better about the mess. So maybe it'll make you feel better about the mess too. All right, so all of our cuttings are back here. They look so good. I'm really excited for them to root in so that we can see some of that root growth. I'll show you over here. Let me turn ya. Here I have some other little Cebu Blue mixed ins. Actually, here too, like kind of all over right here. I got a bunch of Cebu Blue pothos mixed in or propagated, and okay, they're very humid right now because it's like, I swear it's like 100% humidity in here right now, but yeah, so the cups are foggy, but they got some pretty satisfying roots. Oh yeah, really foggy over here, but the roots look awesome, right? So these are about ready to go. I do like to wait for each of the nodes I pop in to have a growth point. We're missing 2 growth points being activated right now. So once those activate is when I'll like list the plant. I just want them to look really full and like just like best set them up for success, because even though smaller plants don't look as filled in usually or as like nice, they are a lot more tolerant of shipping and stress and things like that. I think because there's not as much foliage that needs to stay watered, or I don't know, it's just young growth seems to be really strong, and I am not a scientist. That is just strictly my opinion. Before I forget, the Monstera albo. Oh, this one right here is looking pretty good. So here's the leaf. And the root. Yay! I seriously stuck these in here 1 week ago, so to see a really thick, juicy root like this popping through already is awesome. So cool, so fun. I love how quickly Monstera can grow. Given the right conditions, this is going to be a really cute plant. I want to wait for it to put out like 2 leaves maybe. This one does not have roots. Let's see. This one neither. So there are 2 so far with no roots. This one also does not have roots. I checked it yesterday. This one, is this the one? Yeah, this one. This is a much more mature top cut than that last top cut with roots had. Top cuts just always grow so much faster. So this has been in there the same amount of time. And look at all of those friggin' roots. They look so good. I probably could sell this one, but I'm gonna wait just a little bit longer because it looks like a new leaf brewing here. I don't know if you'll be able to see that tiny little bump there. Yeah, it's gonna pop a new leaf and this one's gonna be beautiful. So once it puts out that leaf, I probably am gonna wanna keep it. That's what always happens. I have such a hard time passing along my variegated plants, especially Monstera alba, which is one of my top favorite plants of all time, because they're just all so unique. Like each of these plants looks so unique from one another, you know? This one has just opened up a leaf since I took the cut, and it has this big root. Does that look good or what? Another top cut, and where'd that root go? Oh yeah, right there. That's so exciting. I love how fast they grow. Everything over here, everything except for this plant here on these 3 trays are albos. Some of them are reverted. I think I have a couple of reverted ones. Oh my gosh, I love this one. It's okay. It's a tough one. I'll be honest. It's a tough one because the leaves are like almost all white, but they come out so cool. The variegation that it does have is so cool looking. This one is my stressful one because it browns on the white parts very easily, but cool, minty, sectoral, I don't know. That is just a cool freaking leaf. I did cut this plant up a little bit to see if I could get the plant to produce a little bit more green, but so far that hasn't really been happening. And 2 of the little growth points activated here. So one here on this cut, and here on this cut, and they each have roots. Even the smaller cut here does have a couple of really chunky aerial roots that made it down into the soil. So I think that's why these are growing pretty well. But yeah, I mean, you can see there's just not a whole lot of green. I mean, this one has a teeny bit of green, but just the tiniest bit here along the tips there. And the smaller one also is doing that same kind of weird thing. I don't know. I just love albos for this reason. They have their own personalities like that. That's so cool. I guess we're gonna do some plant updates now because I do want to give you updates on some stuff in here. I guess some of the plants that keep me having a grow tent, you know. So first, I have 2 of these. These are Syngonium strawberry ice. Another one of my absolute top favorite plants to keep because the variegation is so unique. Do you see that coloration? This actually needs to be watered. The coloration is just so beautiful and splotchy and like almost really muddy because the colors are so vibrant. That is so cool. Oh, I just love them. Okay, so there's one. And the other one here, I think this one's actually my favorite one. That last leaf came out a little bit muddled, I think because it's getting pretty close to the grow light here now. I'm gonna have to find a solution. I kind of want to move it upstairs. Just haven't done it yet because I haven't found the right planter, but I do think I want to move it up onto my IKEA shelf. I have a little bit of extra space up there. I like this one the best because I think the variegation looks a little bit nicer and yeah, more separated, less muddied. Well, a little bit muddied though, but in an acceptable way. Oh my gosh, they are so pretty. What do you think of strawberry ice Syngonium? I don't see them posted about too often online, but absolutely one of my favorites. I did also propagate this little piece that I don't know if I'll ever be able to get myself to sell. But yeah, I have it propagating here if I ever decide to, or to just have a third plant of it to see how it grows in, because I'm crazy. Next, I've got to show you this. This is a pink princess philodendron. My pink princess philodendron. I was never really a pink princess fan. In fact, I was always kind of a hater about them because it's another plant that I feel like the variegation can get really, like the plant kind of looks brown a lot of the time. Like the variegation doesn't really shine. I don't know what it is. I don't know quite how to explain it, but there's just something about the coloration of a pink and green variegated plant that the plants sometimes look a little bit brown and not super great. But this bad boy is proving me wrong because I think it's beautiful. So beautiful. I definitely don't love the side view of this pink princess because you can't really appreciate it. Like, you definitely have to be looking down on the plant for it to have the impact I want it to. But like, this view of it is gorgeous. So I don't know, it's growing on me. Pun intended. My Monstera Esqueleto here is growing in kind of cool. I did take a lot of cuttings off of this, one of which is right there that I am sending to a planty friend. But yeah, I love the way that it's growing in. It's so beautiful. I love when my grow tent plants especially look super grown in and like they're growing just wildly, like they're growing in the wild. Kind of figures out its own thing for itself and grows in the spot it's in without getting moved around a bunch. Yeah, that's why I love the grow tent, because I can really see plants do those kinds of things and grow a little bit more happily, where I would not be able to keep a Monstera Esqueleto upstairs in my house. There's just no way. There's no way. Another thing I love, kind of for the same reasons as that Esqueleto, is that Monstera albo there, like right down through the middle. It's cool because it's kind of attached itself to the wall back there, and I love that. It's starting to get really big and have split leaves, which is super exciting, and the variegation has been getting a lot better than it was down at the bottom, so it gives me a little bit of hope for this plant. I decided to throw a philodendron mame back here. I think it's going to start growing in really, really big and beautiful and help fill in that weird gap in my tent. And to top it all off, this Monstera subpinnata is growing up the Monstera albo. Like, it's using the Monstera albo as somewhat of a trellis, which is really cool. I love it. There's more leaves down here. But I just think it's so exciting and rewarding to be able to see plants grow in this way, like kind of on their own accord, because what's really crazy about this, the subpinnata growing down here actually started up here in this pot with the piece of wood in it. And it didn't put out a leaf for a long frickin' time, but for some reason here it just decided to take off. So that's really cool. Maybe it's gonna start being happy now. And then I definitely want to mention I cut up my Philodendron gloriosum, and one of the little cuts has started popping variegated growth. It's working on popping a new leaf down there. So I'm looking forward to seeing if the next one comes in variegated too, or if it's something that it'll kind of grow out of. So exciting though. This, it is one of the hardest plants I have tried to grow. Even in my grow tent, where I feel like the environment is really good for a vast majority, most tropical plants can figure it out in here. This one is just so freaking slow. I don't know if it's something about this environment that it doesn't like maybe it likes to be a little bit cooler or a little bit drier. I don't know, but I really struggle with this. It's turning out to be a really pretty plant, even though it is very small. This is actually a cutting I took from this plant up here, but it really has just been the slowest growing little sucker ever. I took some cuts here, and there were some empty nodes I've thrown back into the mother pot back there to hopefully see if they'll grow. This is one of the leaves of the cuts I threw in. Another one here. I love popping the little pods on these oxalis. That one's not ready. Dang it, none of them are ready. you can squeeze these little pods, and like you can see this one is still full, but if you just barely pinch it or even like just rustle the plant a little bit, then all the seeds come popping out, and it's so satisfying. I love this little pot of oxalis. It's so cute. Thank you so much for listening to me yap about my plants. My next upload is going to be packing, like pulling plants and packing a very exciting plant mail extravaganza. I'm going to be sending a package of plants to YouTube's favorite plant madam. Yeah, I'm going to be sending a package, pulling a bunch of fun plants, showing you how I box them up and all the goodies I'm going to throw into the box. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So I hope to see you back here Friday. That's going to be it from me today. I will see you next time. Bye.